Welcome to the Engineering Podcast, a podcast from the engineers at Rocket.Chat. We'll be discussing new implementations, problems faced, what's coming, and everything else related to our daily work, always with a technical perspective to keep you up to date. Hey, welcome. I'm Rodrigo Nascimento, your host as always, and I have with me today a new person in this episode. It's the first time participating. That's Kevin Alleman from the backend team, is engineer that. And as always, we have the apps engine leader, Douglas Gilbert, the cloud leader, Ananogo, front-end engineer, Tasso Evangelist, that was part of the episode on last week as well, and our mobile leader, Diego Mello, and the Omnichannel product manager, Renato Becker. So getting started, we didn't have any release or patch releases since the last episode last week. So I will move on directly to the first area where Kevin is here with us today to talk about the backend. So Kevin, welcome. And can you share what the news and interesting things on the backend this past week?
Hey, can you hear me good? Good.
Yes.
Nice. Okay, so hello to everyone. At the backend team, we have been working almost all the week on the new Teams feature implementation. For now, it looks pretty good. A couple of highlights about this. Number one is that we are using the new service architecture that was designed recently, and this will be the first big feature built on top of that. The idea of using this new architecture is to increase the stability and quality of the code, and the whole architecture aims to improve communication between the service and the server itself. And it also allows for more scalability on the server. The bad part is that all the team is working on the same files, or a files very near to one to another. So merge conflicts are happening more often. But I don't think there is any development team without conflicts. The second part is that a big part of these new features is written in TypeScript. I said a big part because we're calling this service in JS files, in which we cannot do the type checking as we would like. This allows for faster development sometimes when we are not dealing with weird types, because you don't have to read the function to see which types it is expecting. You know that beforehand. And last but not least, we have some interesting PRs on there. One of them is aiming to increase the testing coverage for the API. I think that was already merged, and because we have already like 70 or 60 or 70% of branching coverage, and we want to increase that. Another PR allows users to hide the system manage message generated when a user change the room topic in case that annoys you. So it will be configurable. And also we are updating Meter to a more recent version which is 2.1. Building the Teams feature has been fun. It has been challenging at some points, but we want to create something that's usable so our users can enjoy using it as much as we enjoy developing it. Thanks.
Pretty cool, thank you. Yeah, this Teams feature is the biggest thing we are working. People are reporting this since the past week as well. Yeah, excited to see this. And this Meteor release, I think they include security fixes on the Node.js part. That's something good to know. So people should update to the latest version of Rocket.Chat, including this new
Yep.
Meteor version and the Node.js new version as well. Q, thank you. So moving on to the apps engine, Doug, it's your turn. What's going on there?
Hello, folks. Yeah, we've been working on a lot of improvements and some bug fixes as well. So there is a big problem, let's say, that we have on with apps being updated in the latest release. We're checking on that. We're investigating. Hopefully, it's going to go out at the end of this week. Um, there is an improvement to our CLI coming up. If you've developed apps, you may have noticed that with our deploy command, when we use our CLI, RCapps deploy, it errors out if you try to deploy an app that is already installed unless you you pass a flag there that's dash dash update. Now we aim to make that transparent, right? So you will not need to put on this flag while you're running it for the deploy command to be able to determine whether it needs to install or update. Because what we want is to deploy. How this is done doesn't matter, right? Uh, Another thing we are working on is an improvement for our permission model. So currently, kind of looks very rough on the around the edges, and we just got some inputs, and we'll be improving that the message that's sent there as well, so it's even more clear to the administrators what's going to be done by the app you're installing. And that's pretty much it. We're working on these things on like they kind of like small things, but when you add up, it improves the experience by a lot. So that's gonna be it for us this week.
Pretty cool. And this dash dash, the removal of dash dash update makes me happy. Really. Cool. So Cloud is the next one. Aaron, your turn. What's going on there?
Hello. All right. So not a lot to share this week. Not a lot of varied things, shall I say. We have made a lot of progress this week, though, on the Omni Gateway. We've mentioned it in the past. Kind of heads down on it. We have had, I guess, a lot of progress here, as in that there actually is an Omni Gateway more than it used to be. So as we worked a lot with the Twitter APIs, a note to anybody out there that wants to work with Twitter API. If you want to work the account API, use the account accountivity dashboard example in their GitHub. It's much more useful than their documentation. So just a little insider tip for anybody else that wants to. There's a few endpoints that I think we're going to be reporting to them to they need to update because the documentation's not quite. Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, we should have an internal I guess release this week. Hopefully today or tomorrow. That way we can kind of get the finalizing on the app side. I know there's a few changes there, and that'll be happening. But yeah, that's really it for us this week.
Pretty cool. And yeah, following on this API subject, this is something pretty new, but we are starting to work with our technical writer leading improvement on our APIs documentation in this case. So we're probably going to split our API documentation in a different domain and getting a better tooling for people to see the documentation and test the documentation, copy, things like that. So that's something we are going to start really soon because our documentation getting big and confusing. So yeah, it's something really interesting that will start happening in the next weeks. Q. So the next one is the front-end team. Tasso, what do you have to share?
So right now, our team is fully devoted to deliver the team's feature. We are working hard because we have some weaknesses that we are trying to attack in this release, like some components that need some care and better treatment in terms of user experience. And we are testing new features to retrieve and handle data from the REST API and the streamers. So it's going to be interesting the next week. Basically that. No
Okay,
major highlights.
Right. Yeah, that will be some updates on the fuselage then, right?
Exactly.
Cool. Thank you. So the next one is the mobile team. Melo, what's going on there?
Hey guys, not many highlights this week as well. We are in a process of release 4.15.0 on the apps, on the mobile apps, not apps engine. It contains mostly bug fixes and performance improvements, so not many specific subject to talk about. We've been also worked a lot on end-to-end tests. And there's one issue that we've been working since last week, which is 2FA not working on SSO. After this 4.15 release, we're going to start work on support image thumbs from the server, and then start working on the Teams feature on mobile. And that's it. Thank you.
Right, thank you. Moving on to the next one is the Omnichannel. Renato, what's going on there?
Hey, folks. So there are no big highlights to share today. Our main goal for this week is to get things done, to accomplish all tasks in progress by the end of this week in order to deliver them on the next release. But I can talk a bit about some updates, such as the on-hold queue feature. I don't want to be repetitive, but this is one of the most important features that we are going to release. The implementation of this feature is almost done, and we are just making sure that all stuff we work fine. Regardless the omnichannel routing system and all that stuff. But the idea is to start reviewing this pull request by tomorrow. And Aaron just said we are still working on the new Omni Gateway and the Twitter app. And fortunately, we made a lot of progress. Looking forward for the next captures. And other important thing to mention today is that our community came up with a few very critical and security issues. But the good news is that we found and fixed the problems, and now we are planning a new release of the live chat widget. So this new version is coming out with the next major release by the end of this month. And that's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So from my side, I have 4 items to talk about. I mentioned in the past week I was working on an encryption layer, and yeah, I finished a proof of concept this past week. So it's basically working. Is using Diffie-Hellman with elliptic curve encryption to encrypt the communication between client server. It's a second encryption layer only. It's working with our own web client version. It's not, we don't have implementation on the mobile yet, and it's missing the SDK. It's still a proof of concept, but it's a proxy on the back end that works. It's a service that we just run, and the client it's working fine. So something that we are still evaluating how we're going to make it open source, or ready to live inside the Rocket.Chat code, and see how we are going to implement on the other parts as well. So just an update on that one. So the other thing is the reorganization. I guess we talked about that already, that we are changing and planning how we're going to hire and how we're going to organize the whole team. Here inside Rocket.Chat, we are planning new squads and stream values for products, so we can get more teams exclusively working on specific features or products here inside, while we have a platform or architecture team working more on the basis of everything. So the whole new organization based on Matrix is something we are about to finish, and I hope we can share with the company as soon as possible, get feedback, so we can maybe have a podcast talking about what we're doing here, so we can share more information, knowledge, so people may get useful information on that as well. The third thing is the Google Summer of Code. We are in, so we were selected to Google Summer of Code, and we still don't know how many seats we are going to have. But yeah, students should join us as soon as possible, start working with us, because we need to submit how many you want to have, then to see how many Google will give us. So please start talking to the mentors, start interacting so we know how many we can have for this year. And again, we have many job openings there. So please check for Google Summer of Code, please check docs.rocket.chat, and there you see more information about Google Summer of Code. And for the job positions, check jobs.rocket.chat. We have all the positions open there now, or our LinkedIn. So yeah, please talk to us about both things. And I think that's all for me. Thank you all that have participated in this episode, and see you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
You have listened to Engineering Podcast. This episode is available as video on YouTube and audio on your favorite podcast application. For more information, contact community@Rocket.Chat and give us your feedback.